This is the Vision 79 podcast, where my friend Sander and myself, Mason, discuss recent developments in our business and personal growth. The name Vision 79 comes from our respective racing numbers. Sander's is 40, mine is 39, and we have similar ambition to progress in business and personal growth. Many successful people have started small, just like us, but very few of them have documented their early years. They often say they wish they had, and given we believe in learning lessons from others, we intend to be the first to document our journey from start to finish. This is simply a documentary of our lives, and as such, we do not monetize these videos, so enjoy the ad-free content. Each episode is broken down into 3 segments, each covering our progress over the past week. We start by discussing our life updates, then our business updates, and lastly, we share any lessons we've learned over the past week. We have timestamps in the description to navigate these sections easily. Today is June 14th, 2026, and we're recording episode 111. So what is your life update this week?
Life update is relatively short. Got another new hire this week. Friend of mine from NASA, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
So he came in, same team. Working a little bit on my test setup with him for the landing gear, as well as guiding him around, showing him the different buildings, showing him, the different applications that we use and different processes that we have, kind of helping him get started in that respect.
Right.
And then also I've been working on next generation rocket development. So for me personally, it's on one of the upper stages that I'm working on in terms of development for that, and working through the test plan, as well as working with the responsible engineers to try and establish requirements, what it's going to look like, how we want to test it, what tests we want to perform, and
What's the mission set?
updating in that. What?
Like, what's the mission set for the next generation? Like, what's the goal?
The main goal is higher payload capacity,
So heavier stuff,
heavier stuff.
more
Yeah.
stuff, heavier stuff. Got it.
Yep.
Cool.
So that's the big one is just more capacity.
I think, don't you guys have the ability to lift more than anyone else?
No,
No?
definitely not.
Huh. I thought I had heard that the other week. I don't know. Maybe not.
I think Falcon Heavy can do more.
Are you sure?
And double check it. I believe maybe not.
What rocket has
I mean, Starship will
last
definitely,
payload?
for sure.
You think so?
100% Starship for sure.
I don't know. We'll look it up later.
Yeah.
I thought I remember hearing that Blue Origin has the highest payload capacity right now, but I could be wrong. I'm not in that field.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
was
the
watching
ratio of something like payload to weight or something.
No, I was watching a podcast about, I can't remember. It was as I was falling asleep, but it was a YouTube video, and he was talking about New Glenn can do like 40 kilotons, and Starship or Falcon 9 can only do 35 or whatever, something like that. I don't know. In any case, more payload is the mission set.
More payload.
More thrust, more payload.
Yep. So been working on that. And the BMW has no update. I ain't worried about it.
Cool.
It is what it is. So haven't heard anything about it.
It's a good BMW owner mindset. It's just not to worry.
Yep. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much my week. Everything else was taken up by work. Very busy on the work side.
Hell yeah.
So that's all I got.
All right, dude. I have more.
For life.
I have more. So my first update is a positive Northrop Grumman update. My contract came to an end in April. We were greenlit for the next contract. It's a bunch of work. I'm in the middle of planning everything out for that. There's a bunch of milestones we have to hit in the first 60 days of contract award. But the main contract that I was a part of, I was a subset of a contract that had 10 other things going on. And that contract, the big contract with all the different other subsets, is coming to a close too. Some of those programs are getting new contracts. Some of them didn't get renewed. Some of them they're adding to a new batch. So they'll release, this was a batch of 10 different mini contracts. The next batch, maybe 3 of them are the same and they're further along in development, but 7 of them will be new. One of the 7 is very cool and very interesting, and we don't have a person from systems engineering assigned to work that yet. And so as soon as I read the SOW, I went to my boss and I was like, who do you have working that? He said, no one, because it's brand new. We haven't assigned anyone to it yet. And I was like, I so badly want to be the person for this, because the stuff that I work on now is not mechanical. It's electrical. And that is like the whole electromagnetic spectrum is like completely fucking foreign to me. It's like reading Chinese. But this is mechanical. This is mechanical, chemical. Like it's the stuff that you can look and touch and feel and smell, and like it's the things that I understand. And we don't have a systems engineer for it. And so he was like, I was like, I am interested. And he was like, okay. And I was like, no, listen to me, because he knows that I don't put 100% effort into Northrop Grumman. Like I have other interests. Like I do the work, but I don't like overachieve. And I was like, I have never come to you and been engaged at work before. Please hear me when I tell you this is something that I'm interested in coming early for. And he was like, okay, got it. That program is at a different, what do they call it? Caveat. So you have to have your T2 clearance. So once you get your top secret, you become eligible to go get your clearance for different areas, right? The T2 clearance is what we call it for like this big chunk of programs. And so once you have your T2 clearance, then you can apply for the SAP clearance to get special access program read-ins for those subsections, right? I have my top secret. I've not been put in for my T2 yet because my functional manager was changing and the last guy never did it. So I'm waiting. But my boss put me in for my T2 on Friday.
Oh, cool.
So
Nice.
that should only take 6 months. The next contract with this really cool thing isn't going to start for the next couple months either, but it's cool. And I'm excited. It's the first time I've been excited about something at
Nice.
Northrop Grumman.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The Artemis 3 crew was announced this week. I don't know if you watched it.
Nope. I heard it was 3 Americans and 1 Italian.
It's 3 Americans, 1 Italian. He's from the European Space Agency. All super qualified dudes. It's a solid looking crew. It's so interesting to see the differences between the Artemis 2 crew and the Artemis 3 crew. The Artemis 3 crew seems less, I want to say PR trained. They seem more like what you would imagine astronauts to be. The Artemis 2 crew was really good about being like a tight-knit crew and like introspective and like, philosophical on top of doing the mission set. Artemis 3 seems to be less that way, but they still seem capable. So
Cool.
that was cool to see. The SpaceX IPO launched. It's doing really well. Justin and I were talking about it the other day. He said that they had to hit a milestone marker. They had to reach 30% above IPO to unlock the next set of shares.
For 10 days in a row.
Okay, got it. They did hit that on the first day, but then it came back down.
But they got to keep that for 10 days in a row.
Sustain it.
And then if that happens after like 30 days or 28 days or something, instead of 20% more unlocking, 30% more will unlock.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that was cool to see. I did not buy into it.
Yeah, Sammy made $1,000. Bought it when it opened and then sold it at like 160 something.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I thought about it and I was like, I can go through the trouble of trying to get it, or I could just let it ride and see where it goes. Ultimately, I really do believe in the company in the long term. And so, like, I feel like it's kind of, for me, putting blinders on if I focus on making like an extra 10% or 20% right now, when I could just buy it after it settles out and then hold it for like 20 years. Because ultimately, it's a stock that I would want to hold anyways. So
yeah,
that's kind of the approach that I took for it. But still interesting to note. Elon's our first trillionaire, the first human trillionaire, which is cool.
Yeah.
I have more on both of these bullet points in my lessons learned. Le Mans is happening right now. I think it's done by now.
Yeah, it should be.
But I don't have the FIA WEC app to watch, so I have no idea what happened. I heard Kevin Magnussen was on pole. Don't know if he kept it or not. We should see. Who won Le Mans 2026?
Da, 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 da. Ba, 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 ba. And the winner
Toyota.
Toyota.
Who are the drivers? Dude, Toyota hasn't won Le Mans in a fucking minute.
Yeah.
Toyota reclaims Le Mans crown to end Ferrari's streak. Ferrari won it, I think, the last 3 years in a row, right?
Something like, no. Really? Yeah, maybe.
Kamui Kobayashi was the driver who won. Nick DeVries? Holy shit, dude. Nick DeVries was in Formula One for a season a few years ago and like sucked ass. He got kicked out. Now he's a Le Mans winner. That's cool, dude. Good for him.
Yeah.
So Le Mans happened. The NBA finals were last night. The Knicks won the NBA championship for the first time since 1973.
Oh, wow.
They've only won it twice, in 1970 and 1973, and the Knicks have been in a drought since then. But they won it last night. New York is on fire today, because all of the people, sports fans get like violent when they get happy, which doesn't make any sense to me. One of the reasons I can't really take to basketball, but anywho, yeah, moving on. Grace's friend is in town, staying with us. So my last 3 days, initially when Grace asked if she could stay with us, I was like, sure, because like they're just gonna hang out around Brevard, and like I don't care if someone crashes at our place for a couple days. But Grace came up with an itinerary to take her like on a fucking cross Florida tour to like Sarasota and West Palm Beach and Orlando, and I'm like, okay, um, no problem. Like you could take the car. I'll make the Camaro work. The Camaro is leaking cool again, but whatever. I'll make it work. The first day their Sarasota trip got rained out, so they wanted to go to Orlando instead, and I didn't want them to drive in the rain, so I drove them to Orlando. And then last night they wanted to drive to Orlando again. They wanted a designated driver so that they could drink, so I drove. And then today we're all tired because we got home at like 4 a.m. last night. And I don't want them to drive tired to West Palm, so I'm going to be driving them to West Palm. I'll be driving tired.
Nice.
So yeah, that's where my weekend is gone pretty much. But if I didn't and I just stayed home and worked, and then they got in a car accident because they drove tired on the third day of not sleeping, then I would be upset. So it's the you in life you choose your regrets, right? This is the regret I've chose. But I still made a good business update. So what's your business update this week?
My business update's good. It's pretty full.
Okay.
So what the hell did I write there? Man, I wrote this tired too. It says Cleanadol is Cleanedall. Cleanadol. Oh, Cleandoll.
No.
Cleandoll. There we go. I forgot the space. All right, we're rocking and rolling over here.
English is your second language.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Organized and cleaned all the tooling.
Cleaned it all.
So yeah, I cleaned up all the tooling in there. The mills and lathe were done. Sammy did those for me. But I cleaned up the 2 sanders, the sandblasting cabinets, and the 2 saws that are in there. Clean that stuff off. Oh, then after the podcast last week, a guy, Daniel, came in and did the bathroom loft section that I broke the ceiling on.
Yeah.
This guy, like, I have never seen someone work like this. It's insane, dude.
Really?
Insane.
Damn.
In 6 hours, he had all the framing stripped out of the bathroom, ceiling completely stripped, and then re-put up with 2x4s, 2x8s supporting, and then 2x8s with slats across it and plywood on the top. Done in 6 hours flat. It was fucking insane.
That's quick, man.
It was crazy. I mean, like watching him work. Yeah, like spot on.
Dude, fuck yeah.
It was insane. Like watching him work, he'd take like 3 measurements and he'd be like, whoosh, whoosh, like that, just like quick. Walk back to his pickup truck, get like 2 different boards, cut them each, go in there, fit perfect.
What?
No double checking.
Does he have a company or was this just Guy?
It was Daniel. It was fucking Daniel, man. I don't know, dude. It was insane. Insane, dude.
In high school,
carrying up plywood boards, like 4x6 plywood boards on his back up a ladder up to the loft.
Yeah.
He would just like hold it like that, and he would do. It was
and it fit
crazy.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how many times I've taken perfect measurements and then nothing fits. Like it happens all the time. In high school, I would work on cars with my buddy who didn't know anything about working on cars. I didn't either. We were in high school. We were idiots. But one time we were stuck. We like weren't sure. We were using Plasti-Gauge to gauge connecting rod clearance in the crank, and we weren't sure if we were reading it right, and we just like all the Plasti-Gauge was like squishing at different lengths and stuff, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and he goes, we need Dave. And I was like, what? And he said, we need Dave. Dave knows things. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And so he sent him a text and he said, we're meeting him tomorrow. And I was like, okay. I went to rowing practice the next day and I was talking to one of my other car friends about it, and he was like, the Plasti-Gauge, what? Like, I don't know. I don't build motors. And I was like, me neither. And he was like, I'll put you in touch with my buddy Dave. Dave knows things. And I was like, who the fuck is this Dave guy, dude? And Dave built drift cars and then went and drifted them at the compound. So he
Okay.
has experience building motors. But like the car community that I was friends with all knew Dave independently.
That's
and they
funny.
used the same saying of, do we need Dave? Dave knows things. And that reminds me of, we
Yeah.
need Daniel. Daniel works miracles.
Dude, it was crazy. I mean, he was done by like 6 p.m. Like done.
Jesus, dude. That's
Yeah,
quick, dude.
it was insane.
yeah.
So that was super sweet. After that happened, I moved all the shelves up into the lofts, all the parts, and all the bins. So that got
On your own?
the shelves and the like solo parts
Uh-huh.
that aren't binned, I moved alone up a
That's
ladder,
crazy, dude.
which sucked.
Why'd you use the ladder? Why didn't you use the forks?
We used the forks for the bins.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Was the other stuff just too like cumbersome for the
No, it
forks?
would have worked, but I was working late. I mean,
You
I
just
worked
didn't wanna
until
deal with
like
the
1:30
forks?
in the morning every night this week.
You just didn't want to deal with the forks?
Yeah, I did waking up Mike to go deal with my bullshit. You know, it's like,
Gotcha.
I'm just,
Gotcha.
whatever. So,
Yeah.
that got done. All cleaned up there and all the raw material organized. Mike picked up an extra one of those metal Target style shelves, and so I have 4 across the back now.
Oh,
And
sweet.
all of the material lays on them. Plus, there's one side where I have a few car parts and up at the top some car parts.
That's sweet, dude.
So yeah, all that's laid out.
Can I interrupt you? I'm so sorry. There's a part of my life update I forgot because it happened this morning and I didn't write it in my sheet. Lewis Hamilton got his first win with Ferrari this morning.
Oh
in Spain.
wow! Congratulations.
First ever. It's his first win in 2 years. He hasn't won a Formula One race in 2 years,
Yeah.
which is crazy because his win rate is still like fucking 60% or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's 60, it's less than that. But like still most of the races he's won. If he continued to drive until 2064, his win ratio would still be stronger than Fernando Alonso's.
That's
2064.
insane.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat I saw the other day. But yeah, big day for him and Ferrari. And it was on pace. It wasn't like he did get a little lucky with a virtual safety car and like with pit stops, but honestly, it didn't even matter. Like he had the pace to do it anyways. And like he was fucking kicking Charles Leclerc's ass this weekend. Like Charles just could not drive the car. And Lewis like famously has stopped using the simulator, so he's just going on vibes. He went out in free practice 3. He was nowhere. And so he said that he went back to his trailer and he just like fucking meditated and got in a Zen state. And then he went out and qualified P2. So like whatever manifesting he's doing, it's working for him. And
Nice.
he was able
That's
to win
good to
today,
see.
which is cool. Yeah.
That's good to see.
I'm so apathetic with him as a person, but it is good to see. It's good to see him win with Ferrari. I would never want to see him go to Ferrari and not win anything, right?
Yeah.
That would be sad.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Also,
he's cool.
who won their first race with Ferrari in Spain 30 years ago in 1996?
Oh, in 96?
Mm-hmm.
Their first race?
Their first win with Ferrari, not their first race.
Their first one with Ferrari.
In Spain, same racetrack.
Michael?
Michael.
Ah, I got it right. Look
Cool
at me.
history, right?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that the virtual safety car that helped Lewis Hamilton out was triggered because Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin broke down. So Fernando Alonso like gifted Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, that's
like,
funny.
yeah, it was. Everyone's making memes because Spain is not on the calendar next year. They're like rotating it on and off with the Madrid Grand Prix because it's basically Spain. And so Fernando Alonso came out this year and he was like, this could be my last Barcelona Grand Prix. Like, I don't know. And so like everyone's memeing because Fernando Alonso's like last in the championship with Aston Martin, like because Aston Martin it's just a fucking dog in this year. And so everyone's joking that this is Fernando Alonso's final gift to Lewis Hamilton is like helping him get a race win.
Now you hold the stick.
yeah. But anyways, I wanted to throw that in.
funny.
I wouldn't be able to pay attention to what you were saying if I was sitting
No,
on
you're
that for like
good.
30 minutes. But okay, so you did the loft, you got all the bins
loft
up.
is completely done. Bins are up. All looks good.
looks
all
great.
organized.
Looks great.
So that was a good amount of work there. Bathroom is relatively complete at this point. What Daniel didn't do was drywall, but drywall Mike and I did last 2 days.
Cool.
So it's still like could use paint if we want to do paint. And the toilet and sink need to be hooked up. So like that stuff still needs to be done. But additionally, after we brought over the garage stuff from my personal garage, I went through like 2 or 3 iterations of moving those shelves around, that I had in there
Mhm.
already.
Mhm.
Plus, yesterday, Mike and I brought over the shelves from my garage, those, metal and wooden ones in the back by the AC that had all of the cleaners on them by the toolbox in the back corner. They're kinda
Above
like
the toolbox?
no, the ones they're
Oh, you're
floor
facing
level.
the garage that's on the right.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay,
yeah.
cool. They're like waist high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we brought those over. And I went through like a few different iterations of how I wanted to lay it out. And I ended up doing a whiteboard drawing. Thanks for the whiteboard. A
You
whiteboard
have a much
drawing
bigger whiteboard in there.
to scale
Mhm.
of the garage, and then laying out the shelves.
Scale?
Yeah, it was to scale.
1-to-1 scale or
No. It
30
was
to 1
every
scale?
foot was an inch.
Gotcha.
It fit.
Cool. Cool.
So I did that drawing of the garage, and then I started laying out tooling and other stuff like that,
Mhm.
and figuring out how everything was going to place,
Mhm.
and figured out where I wanted the shelves, how I wanted it laid out, etc. So brought all that stuff in, organized all the sprays, the cleaners, the other random items. It's all done.
Cool.
Um, then researched all of the electrical hookups that I need and what amperage and how many slots it's going to take up on the breaker panel for
Mhm.
each item in there, and trying to figure out what I want on separate circuits versus the same circuit, depending on what I'm running at the same time.
It's a good idea.
So I did that mostly complete. I just need to put tape on the walls, which I'm going to
Mhm.
do today
Cool.
for the electrician coming in next week. Then Mike was like, why don't we try to put this lift up? Can't be that hard. And he was like, we'll use
The
the
cart
forks.
lift?
Yeah. He was like, we'll use the forks or something. And I was like, shit. I mean, probably be fine, right? And but then I started watching some videos, and I was like, Mike, I think we could just walk these poles up. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, like I've watched these
Man.
videos, and like they're super bottom heavy. So
Yeah.
as soon as you get them past 45, like you just kind of like ease them
Yeah.
over.
You gotta stop it from falling over at that point. You gotta
Yeah.
pull on it, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it really wants to center. And so Mike and I were chatting about it, and we're like, yeah, like let's do it. Let's get it exactly where I want it. That way, when the lift guy comes in, it's like dead set. Like, this is where I want it. Don't fucking move it. Drill holes and put bolts in.
Right.
And so we got the arms up, the big pillars. We got those up. And then we put the cross beam on the forklift, lifted that up, and then I went up on the ladder. Dude, that ladder, you've been on the ladder, right? Or
Yeah.
have you not walked on the ladder yet?
Yeah.
The ladder, dude, once you put it like all 4 feet down, like it has gotten sketchier and sketchier over the course of the weeks.
Really?
Dude, like because one of the supports in the center is like bowed like this.
Oh.
So you're constantly like 3-footing.
Fuck.
So you're like on this ladder, like this ladder is literally walking around as I'm climbing it. Dude, that ladder, I gotta replace that ladder. It's sketchy.
I used it to get up in the loft, so you like have it leaned against the loft,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like pretty
No, when you put
planted.
like 4 feet down, dude, it's
Yeah,
like way
that's
worse.
that's
way worse.
terrible.
Yeah. So Mike was on the forklift, and then I was up on the ladder bolting it up there on the cross beam. And so we got it all set, and we got it on the ground. And what I'd forgotten to factor in was the fact that I assumed that the pads were on the center of where the arms come out, or where the supports are. So the pads that the car sits on are centered to those supports.
Okay.
What I didn't realize is that because the arms are like they're at an angle, it's an odd design.
Okay.
And so the pads actually, although they're parallel to like the car when it drives on, they actually sit back to where the center the center pillars are.
Interesting. So they're offset from the pillars.
They're offset slightly. And so once I'd realized that, at this point we've gotten the whole thing assembled.
I wonder why that is.
It's just the design.
Yeah.
Just
It's
the way
just
it
not
is.
like
I mean, but if you think about it, even the lift at like Autobahn, like the front arms will sit like perpendicular to the direction of the car, and then the back ones will go back, right?
Yeah.
So they're all kind of like that. It's just,
yeah.
yeah,
Huh. Okay.
I don't know.
But so you guys have it all assembled, and then you realize that it's not right.
Yeah, it's not right. And so, what I what I ended up doing is essentially we had it all upright and all good and dandy, and then because of that pad displacement, I realized that I was an extra like 2.5 feet back from where I wanted the center of the car to be.
Hmm.
So that was gonna give me, it was gonna give me like 7.5 feet up front, which is a lot.
Hmm.
And that's not where the motor is. Motor's in the back.
Right.
So I was looking at that and I was like, okay, I got like, we gotta shift this forward
Right.
quite a bit. And so, and then we were looking at it and we realized, and then I started measuring the gaps between the pads and where the pinch welds sit. And I realized that I could widen it out a little bit and kind of use the inside middle section of the pads to get more access underneath in the center because the pads are big.
Okay. On the lift.
Yeah, so I could have widened the lift out a little bit.
Okay.
And so we got it all up and we were like, shit, like it would be nice to widen this thing out and move it forward. So then we took the whole thing fucking down. All right. Then we moved the pillars forward, right? Got it, and then widened it out with the top bar, put it all back together. We got it up, and then we're like, okay, like let's try to get it like square, like dead square, right?
With the walls?
With the door.
Got it. Okay.
So we're friggin' doing cross measurements and shit and like pushing it forward and back. Dude, I have a piece of 2x4 that looks like it went through a blender because I was friggin' on the bottom of the base with the plate.
Tapping it.
I had the two and whamming it with a mallet.
Tapping.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, whamming, dude.
Yeah. If you're tapping it,
Because it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy. And dude, just like splintering this friggin' piece of wood, moving this thing.
Jesus Christ.
So that was like, I don't know, maybe like 2 hours, 2.5 hours of fucking with that thing. But now it's up and it's in a position I like. So I'm happy with it.
So all this guy has to do is drill holes?
All this guy's got to do is come in, drill friggin' holes, put bolts in. That's it. And wire it up if he wants to.
Think Marco has a drill?
Yeah, I kind of want him to do it though. Double
Actually
check our
goes
work
good.
and stuff. Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
He might have other measurement tools that he uses to make sure that it's all like
Yeah.
square, just to double check.
Right.
So yeah, that's
But then, so that got set up and is up right now. Then after that point, I decided I'm gonna clean the whole fucking floor and scrub it. So I'd
Again.
already scrubbed the back half. I'd never
Oh.
scrubbed the front half
okay. Got it.
because the lift was over there.
Right. But now the lift's up.
Now it lifts up. So then I friggin' poured Simple Green and like a bunch of other cleaners all on the ground. Sat there with the friggin' scrub brush, scrubbing this thing, and scrubbed the entire bay. And I got done about 4 o'clock in the morning last night.
Woo!
Yep, super fun.
We got the same amount of sleep.
Yep, it was great.
Yeah.
So, but that's all done now.
That's
right
good.
now.
I mean, that's a lot of progress.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
So now all that's really left is for me to put tape on the walls for the electrician, to get the green car rolling and over there, get the toolbox over there,
Get the orange car over there.
orange car over there,
Or is
and
that
get
going in your-
NCs installed.
You get the AC installed and the bathroom plumbed, but you're
Yeah.
probably not doing the plumbing, right?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the AC install or the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
Knowing you, you'll still probably be there to be involved though, and like double check.
Yeah,
those
I mean,
things are
Mike's
right
just
spot.
as anal as I am, so like if he's
a good fit.
available,
a
you know,
good
it's
fit.
like whatever. Yeah.
Mike's a cool dude.
Yeah, Mike was the one. I got sick of moving the fucking lift around, and Mike was like, "It doesn't look square to me," and I was like, "Fuck."
That's a taste of your own medicine.
I know.
Do you remember when
know.
we were working on the Miata and there was like some like AC condenser fiasco or something? You were like, it doesn't look
Yeah.
right, and I was like, dog, please.
It wasn't right. But no, dude, like, well, I mean, he was right though. It wasn't square, so we got it. Square.
And you were right. It wasn't the right AC compressor, but it was like such a minute difference. You were like, I don't trust it, and I was like, dog, please, it fits. Just hook it up. Like,
Yeah.
we're good to go.
But
Oh,
we
you guys
got
are
it good. We
perfect
got it
for each
good.
other.
But I have a tidbit. You know my shop vac? When I
At
bought
home?
that, yeah, the yellow one, the yellow and black one.
Mhm.
So that one's my home one. I brought it over to the shop. When I bought that shop vac, it was the highest horsepower shop vac I could find, 5.5 horsepower shop vac.
Okay.
I went on Uline this week,
Mhm.
and they have 6.5 horsepower models now.
Ooh.
And they have a regular plastic one with a rolly, like a big metal rolly handle,
Mhm.
which I didn't really like because of the height. I can't tuck it under something.
Okay.
But then they had a stainless 6.5 horsepower fucking DeWalt shop vac, dude.
You lying.
And this thing was sick. 6.5 horsepower, stainless tub, shop vac, big boy, with friggin' reinforced hose on it.
$299.
Yeah, whatever it was, $300 or
Nice,
something.
dude.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
that's what I got for the shop. 5.5 horsepower. I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna take the filter out and then run soapy water through it. That's what I usually do to clean them. Just get a bucket of soapy water and then stick the nozzle in and just let it
Let it suck it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it swirls it all around and cleans it.
Hell yeah, dude.
So that's what I'm getting for the shop. Then mine will go back home.
I love new tools.
Dude, I'm so excited for my shop vac. It looks sick, right?
It does look sick.
Yeah, it looks good too.
Well, I'm excited too because I think when I buy new things, my default setting is like, okay, what's the nicest thing available? And then can I get that? And if I can't get that, you know, then how do I go without? Like, what do I do? Right. And I feel like a lot of my friends in the automotive community are more fiscally responsible. And like, if they can find something, if they can find a flame cabinet on Marketplace for $15 or for free, then they'll get it.
Yeah.
And I always go like, no, I want the fucking 6.5 horsepower.
Yeah.
Shop.
I mean, I'm like that with a lot of stuff, but like, especially when it comes to like tooling or
Yeah.
like vacuums.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, if you cheap out on the fucking vacuum and you get one of those small ones, it's like not even worth having.
Yes.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
feel
it
the same way.
doesn't fucking work.
I feel
and
the
so
same way.
get a big boy, fucking with all the attachments on it, and then like when you go to use it, it friggin' works.
Yeah.
Like just get the real deal. You know what I mean?
It always makes me happy when people like splurge and go for like the nicest
Yeah.
thing, because that's exactly what I would do, especially with tools. That's how I feel about all tools, really, is that I'm always like, what's the nicest thing I can get? Because
Yeah.
you know, if you maintain it well, then it'll last a long time. Yeah.
But cleaned all the floor. The floor looks a lot better. It doesn't look good, but it looks better than it used to. It looks good. It looks good. And I hung up the whiteboards and my thread checker.
What's a thread checker?
The guys like at Ace Hardware on the wall where you like check the nuts and bolts for thread pitch and size.
Got it.
Yeah. So I hung that up. And laid out all of my plan for the space. Mike is adamant that I want that metal table, and it's grown on me. He
Which metal
knows
table?
the big one outside my.
I thought that was trash when I showed up the first time.
I know.
I was like, this is trash that's too big for a trash guy to come pick up, so it's just been out here for years.
I know.
I did not know that the plan was for that to go.
Mike was like, "This is your table" for like 2 weeks, and I was like, "This is not my fucking table." And well, no, I was like, I don't know about this table, man.
Yeah.
And but then like I kept looking at it and laying out the space, and I was like, I kind of like this table. And
It is a good like everything all-purpose table.
It is. It is.
You can put transmissions on that table. You can put engines on that table.
Yeah.
You could fucking.
I'm gonna sand the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna paint it with some really durable like engine block paint, like some real like
truck bed liner.
thick, nasty
shit.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like paint the crap out of it, get it nice, and then put it in there. And then it will be like the big metal everything table. I mean, the thing is friggin' 10 feet or 9 feet long. It's huge.
I told you about the murder table that Sean.
Yeah.
It's like it's so useful to have a table that you can just like fucking like bang shit on. Like sometimes especially with old cars, like you're gonna get a bolt that doesn't want to come out, and like you're gonna like need to like there's a YouTube thumbnail of me standing on the differential with like a 4-foot ratchet extension to try to get like we were trying to get like the pinion bolt out or whatever. And it was just a fucking nightmare. But like I'm glad that we had murder table, because I would not have been able to do that on like the nice assembly table.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But that stuff all worked out. And just finishing up those small odds and ends today. But
also, for fitting, if you're gonna do any type of like tube frame chassis like welding, it's good to have a big flat surface to do fitment on.
Yeah.
So like that would come in handy too.
Yeah, no, it's a good table. It's a good table. I found a spot for it. It's gonna go in the back corner. So
by the bandsaws? Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
It's gonna go over there, and then additionally for the guy that I can't recover his magazine with the wrong address, I sent him a free one of his choice from the selection. I still have to list more items. The loft got done a lot faster than I thought it would, so I didn't list anything this week.
That's a good problem.
Yeah, good problem. But that's about what I have for business this week.
It's good. That's a good update, dude.
Yeah. What do you have for business this week?
So my business update is mostly centered around advertising, but there is a small client update. My friend, who I've been friends with for a while, is using a family member as their real estate agent. I think you might know this person too, but I can't remember. Um, and like my friend came to me with some questions about like just general type things, and to basically say like, hey, um, I'm using someone else as an agent, like no hard feelings. It's a family member, so she's getting help with financing from this family member. So it's like, I'm gonna help you with the down payment, but you'll have to use me as an agent type deal, which is fine. And I'm not bothered by it at all. Like I'd rather someone use who they're comfortable with, right? But they have been coming to me like all week with questions about like, oh, like, is this a regular problem? Is this normal? Like, what do we do here? Like the seller agent didn't have the seller's disclosure in the MLS. And I was like, well, they're not required to have a seller's disclosure, but the seller does have to disclose any defects with the property. So just get in writing in an email, like, hey, what are the problems, right? Um, and she was like, oh yeah, like the seller agent won't get back to us. And I was like, you have to pressure your agent. Like your agent should be doing these things, like I've had agents before that are shitty, and so I call their boss, their broker, and then I just get them on the phone to deal with it. And
Mm.
then that gets the agent in trouble. And guess what? Then they start picking up my calls. Um, so it's unfortunate, but there's two things this week that really fucking like just pissed me off because I think that people so frequently pick their realtor the same way that they pick out like a donut at the donut shop in the morning, where it's just like, yeah, whatever one kind of fits. And so, and it's not the same as if you're like flying in an airline. Like, oh man, there's this joke a while ago I saw on TikTok where it was like, hey everyone, like, they land the plane and they're like, this was Junior's first flight.
Oh
And
yeah.
everyone's like, what? Like,
Oh yeah.
no one wants that, right? And so like when you're using your aunt as a real estate agent who like she got her license because her husband makes a bunch of money and she doesn't have anything to do and so she doesn't take it seriously. It's like,
Hmm.
so the complaint was that they submitted an offer and it was rejected because they wanted it to be in an as is contract, right? In a standard real estate contract, you negotiate price and condition. So you're like, I want the house to be in X condition when I take ownership of it, right? Which is more negotiations up front. And it's not what is typical, I think, even though it's called a standard contract. What's typical for Grace and I is we use as is contracts because what you're saying is you're delivering the house to me as it's in the condition right now, right?
Yeah.
I have an inspection period where I can go look at the house and we can negotiate. Once we're under inspection period, we've already come to agreement on a price. If there's a leak in the roof, anybody's going to have you fix that leak in the roof, either before the inspection period or not. So let's just have you pay to fix it now. You can use whatever cheap guy you want, and then we'll get to the closing table. And so Grace and I use as is because it's easier and it's good to help lubricate negotiations, right?
Mm.
And so it's not a problem. And so I told my friend, I was like, just have your agent write an as is contract. It's not a big deal. And she was like, okay, got it. Like, I'll let them know. And I was like, cool. And then they came back to me the next day and they were like, hey, there's another problem. Like, we submitted the as is contract, but like, they don't know, they don't like how much money I'm putting down. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, they don't like the amount of money that I'm like submitting with my offer. And I was like, oh, that's escrow. That's earnest money deposit, right? Basically, what an escrow is when you make an offer, you throw a little bit of cash in there too to say, hey, I'm serious. And then if you end up buying the house, that cash goes towards your down payment. So you're going to
Mm.
pay that money anyways, right? Typically, you want to see like 1% of the home's value in escrow. Sometimes sellers want a little more because there's a bunch of people who are making bids and they don't want to get screwed. Because if you get all the way through the inspection period and you get to the closing table and then you decide that you don't want the house anymore, like you just decide that you don't want to, so you don't show up to the closing table, which you can do, they keep your escrow. And so if they're concerned that you're wasting their time, they'll ask for more escrow so that they get paid for more of their time. Which, who cares? That's going to go toward your down payment anyways. Just put in the escrow to get your offer in. Then you can use that as a negotiating chip later and say, hey, I gave you the escrow you wanted. Put a new roof on the house, right? Um,
Yeah.
so in any case, I explained this to her and she was like, oh, like I don't think that my agent understood really like what you said. Maybe I relayed it poorly. And then like the seller agent didn't seem to understand, and I don't think that he told the sellers the right thing either. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, yeah, I think that they're confusing earnest money deposit with escrow. And I was like, they're synonymous terms. It's the same thing. What? And so like, I'm upset on my friend's behalf because like, this is the easiest fucking thing. This is rudimentary, fundamental, like how to sell a house type shit. And like, I get it if the selling agent sucks. The house we sold last month, the selling agent sucked. He was a flat fee broker. He was not involved at all. I spoke and negotiated directly with the seller. There's no rules against that. Like, so it's bothering me not that my friend is using a different agent, but that my friend isn't getting good service, right? In the same vein, my buddy from college, you remember the guy who had no brake pad, right? And he wore his caliper down?
Yeah.
Dude, his parents make a ton of money. His parents are really smart, which is funny because he was driving around with no brake pad.
Apple fell far from the tree.
Apple fell. I think the mailman must have the same color eyes as him or something. But his parents make really good money. They live in North Carolina. They're selling their house. It's like a $2.5 million listing.
Okay.
And he sent me the listing, like the MLS data sheet for it. And he said, does anything look wrong here? And I was like, nothing looks wrong, but like, you know, I see that the house has a pool. Is it saltwater? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, put that into the description. That makes, you know, a difference. Is it heated? He said, yeah. I'm like, put that in there. You know, is your dock navigable to the ocean? Yes. Okay. What's the dredge depth of your dock? That like how big of a boat can you fit on your dock? Because like people would be interested in taking that to the ocean if you're like a 20-minute drive away. And so I started going through and nitpicking. I was like, it's the description says it's a 1-story house. It's very clearly a 2-story house. It actually has a detached garage also with 2 stories. So I said, you should fix that. It shouldn't say 1 story. Also, that 2-story garage in the top is a bedroom and a bathroom and a little workout room. That counts as a mother-in-law suite. You should include that because that's a big deal. Some people filter by houses for mother-in-law suite. People set up search alerts for homes with mother-in-law suites because some people, especially wealthy people, just don't want a home that doesn't have like a tucked away suite, right? And he was like, oh, he was texting me. He was like, I'm telling my dad all this as you're telling me, and he's getting pissed at our real estate agent, right? Dude, a $2.5 million listing, that's like an $80,000 paycheck. So their agent is getting paid 80 grand and he's making these mistakes. And so like that, like you shouldn't be getting that service. You should not say 1-story home for a 2-story house in a listing if you're getting paid $80,000. Like that's one proofread, you know? And so it upsets me to see other people not get service that they're paying for or deserve. And so I'm using this energy and this passion
Good.
in a later segment. Now on to advertisements. So we're talking Google ads and Facebook ads. Last week, I went to a training that my brokerage had, and they talked about Google local service ads and how they're you have to submit an application to have your Google profile approved, and then once it's approved, you can pay a certain amount of money. It's pay per lead, right? To have your profile shown to people searching for agents in your area, right? So I decided I don't want to put my profile up for application until I have 20 Google reviews because I feel like that's a solid benchmark where Google's going to look at me and go, okay, he's legit. I had 5 this time last week. I now have 22.
Oh, good.
So I hit my benchmark. I hit it really quickly, actually. So shout out to Zap, longtime listener of the podcast, and a couple of my other buddies. It was really interesting to see. I reached out to a lot of people and I was like, hey, you know, you're someone who I know and trust. I think that you know me well enough to leave a review based on my character and my work ethic and my trustworthiness. If you're comfortable leaving a review, I'd appreciate it. It's interesting to see who did, who said they would, and who flat out didn't. It's interesting. There's a lot of people who said, yeah, man, I got you, and then didn't.
Interesting.
There's an interesting correlation between girls who I have been in relationships with at varied stages who said flat out no, which I guess is better than a bad Google review. But it's funny because I went to them and I was like, hey, we're on good standing. I think you have a good judge of my character. Would you like vouch for me? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But funny, interesting. And then there were some guys like Zap and Dutchy and my buddy Colin from work and Eloise, who, you know, like they all did, they were like, yes. And they did it like Joel, they did it like right then and there. So like, I really do appreciate those people, and they got big brownie points in my eyes, for helping me out when I needed the help. So I've finished my account. Actually, I was halfway through making my account when it started prompting me to write headlines for a campaign. And I
Mhm.
was like, what? Because like this is just supposed to be like showing my profile to people. Like I'm not making ads, but it wants me to make ads. It's asking me to like submit photos for ads. And I was like, this isn't right. And I realized that in Google Business Profile, they have a prompt which is like get a $500 credit for running ads. And
Mhm.
when you click on that, it doesn't take you to local service ads. It takes you to Google Ads. They're
Yeah.
different things entirely. And so I got halfway through making a Google ad and then realized that that's not what I wanted. So I shut that down, did the local service ad thing,
Okay.
submitted my application. There's like 7 different like sections that have to be approved. It's really fucking annoying. The first 3 sections got approved like within an hour, but the other sections are just taking fucking forever. And I'm getting a bunch of policy violations pop up. It's like you can't say this in your ad. You can't have this photo in your ad. These are all the different sections that have to be approved.
No,
So
got it.
there's only one I'm waiting on now. My headshot of all things, the one where you just look at the fucking picture and like check the box. But I was getting all these policy violations and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I realized that I was halfway through making my Google ad and that was in violation of terms for Google local service ads. So they're separate, but they're connected somehow
Separate
because
but equal.
they're separate but equal. So in my verification for Google local service ads,
Uh-huh.
it was flagging problems from Google Ads. So I went and I deleted my Google Ads account, just got rid of it. And so
Uh-huh.
like now those policy violations are gone. But if you have policy violations in the middle of your verification, it can slow things down. Regardless, there's like 7 different sections you have to have approved. I'm only waiting on one. It's the headshot. But like I had predicted last week, it's a set it and forget it type of thing. So like
Yeah.
after I made my account and I left it, what are you smiling about?
No, nothing.
After I made
Good.
my account and just left it, I just have to wait to be verified and then it should just start running.
Mm.
I'm giving it a $300 a week budget because Blue Marlin told me that it never spends anywhere near what they tell it.
Okay.
Just in case they do, I can afford $300 a week. They probably would frown upon you like cutting it back. They would probably not reward you for that. So,
It depends. Facebook sort of does
mm,
in the sense that like if you're spending a daily amount and then you decrease by 20%, it'll actually cheapen your lead cost and
mhm,
your CTA cost
mhm.
because it's trying to incentivize you to bump the budget back up.
Oh, interesting. It's
Yeah.
like it puts out a little bit
Yeah.
and convinces you to take it to a nicer dinner place.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
I'll
it
keep that in
depends.
mind.
It depends.
I set it at something I was comfortable with just in case it goes gangbusters, which I do not expect it to. Anyways, that's where Google Local Service Ads is. I put a pin in it.
Cool.
For Facebook ads, I went through and I started editing my new long body, short body, and
Cool.
like reading it and getting comfortable with it. Um, and I had talked last week on the podcast about starting up one of my um, old Facebook ads to kind of get the account running again and get me familiar with how like the Facebook
Sure.
Ads Manager works. And so I actually didn't start running one of the old ones. Instead, I took one of the images that I made from the house we just sold and was gonna use for a Google local service ad or for a Google ad.
Okay.
I was like gonna drop a picture in and then I was like, wait, I'm not supposed to be doing ads. What am I doing? So I canceled my Google ad, right? I used that photo for this new Facebook static ad, right? And so I set it at just like $2 of spending a day, so nothing crazy. And then I set it to maximize the amount of people that see it, maximize volume, right?
Yep.
And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm spending $2 a day really to get exposure, not to get leads or links or forms filled out. Really, this is just about getting me comfortable with the Facebook Manager again and getting me exposure.
Sure.
So far, it's spent $5.88. It's reached 1,700 people, and it's set to only Brevard, so that's 1,700 people in Brevard.
Okay.
5,000 impressions, so on average, it's showing it to people like 2.5 times. And I've gotten 22 link clicks. The link goes to a Google form. The reason I have the Google form is because if you have the Facebook integrated form and you click on it, it has all your information already from your Facebook account. And so old people or people who are not serious qualified leads will just tap their way through it and then it sends you old expired information that doesn't count. So like I have called expired phone numbers before and found that like, the email is out of date or whatever. Like they don't have their Hotmail account anymore
Sure.
because Facebook is bad about prompting people to update their contact information. So they'll click through it and not pay attention, not qualified leads. I got really sick really quickly of going through Facebook leads that aren't legit. I would much rather redirect someone to a Google form and then make them fill out the Google form, because although I'll get less entries, they'll be higher quality.
Yeah, I agree.
So I've gotten 22 link clicks so far for $6 of spend. So it's 27 cents per click, which I'm not honing in on the price per click really, because it's not the intention of this ad set. But it's just interesting to look at it. No one has actually filled out the Google form yet.
Okay.
So they've clicked on it, but they haven't actually filled it out. And I'm choosing to look at that as using the Google form is working, because this is 22 people that would have entered bullshit data on
Yeah.
Facebook but didn't on Google.
Make sure it works too. Have Grace look at the ad in the public Facebook ads database,
Ah,
and then click through the links and make sure the Google form actually loads properly.
that's a good idea.
Just to double check that.
That's a good idea. I have, after the first 5 link clicks and no entries, I was like, I just want to make sure that this is okay. So I went into my ad and ads manager and I copied the link that I have in the ad, and then I pasted it in the Vision 79 browser. So like in like different
Mhm.
browser, and the link worked, but I didn't click it through the ad. So I should double check
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Um, in any case, that ad is running. And I was continuing to work on prompt 6. I think I'm comfortable with most of the hooks in prompt 6. I'm still working on the body and the CTA a little bit. But another note that I had from last week is a quote from my broker, which went, "If you aren't the voice of your sale, someone else will be," right? And so I made the decision to go through the neighborhood of the house we just sold, because the person who sold the house bought it in 2018 for like 250K,
Mm.
just sold it for 570. So he made a lot of money in a short amount of time. Surely there's other people in the neighborhood who were the same. So I went through and I found every person in the neighborhood who had bought the house earlier than like 2020, because most of them have a pretty strong equity position of like over 150 grand.
Yeah.
If it's less than 150 grand, I'm not going to call them, because I mean, some of the houses are like they're underwater on, because they bought it at peak COVID. And so it's like they bought it for 750K and now it's worth probably like 600. Like
Yeah.
they're not in a good spot. I'm not calling them. But I have an Excel sheet with the name, address, age, and contact information. And so my intent was for this weekend to go through that list and call everybody, say, hey, I sold a house in your neighborhood. My weekend has changed to now where I'm driving all over the place, so I'm not doing phone calls.
Mm.
But I decided on Tuesday to send postcards to the neighborhood, because I found out it's only $60 to send postcards to like the 200 homes in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I designed a postcard and submitted it. It got approved and mailed out. So
Cool.
the postcards should be getting there early this week. So if I call them next weekend, or it's an off Friday, if I call them Friday, a lot of them are older folks, so I can probably call them during the day on a
Sure.
work day. Hopefully they'll have seen my postcard in the mail. Old people check the mail all the time.
Yeah.
And then they'll get my phone call and they'll kind of recognize me. So that's the postcards. My last update is it has to do with the first girl I was talking about, who's
Sure.
using their family as an agent. It really bothers me that people are choosing poorly. Not that I'm like the best real estate agent in the world. Like I have a lot of room to grow, but just the fact that you're not getting like the bare fucking minimum from the person you're paying a ton of money to.
The bar is low.
The bar is low. And also, I think what even bothers me more than that is it doesn't really cost you money to get a real estate agent if you're buying a house, because the person selling the house has already negotiated with
Yeah.
their agent. That agent is getting 6%, and they're offering your agent 2.5. If you don't have an agent, they just keep that 2.5, and you're not going to have the seller reduce the price of the house because you don't have an agent. They're not getting anything out of that.
Yeah.
And so I feel like people don't understand that. And
Mhm.
that clicked with me at the closing table for this last home, because the buyer made a joke about like when they were like going through line by line, and they were like, your real estate agents are getting paid like 5 grand a piece. And he was like, you guys better take us to dinner. Haha. Like, you know, he was just
Mhm.
making a joke. And I was like, oh, he doesn't know that this is kind of like baked in already. Like you would, if you didn't use a real estate agent, you're still paying that money. It's just
Yeah.
going toward the other agent, you know, like
Right.
you kind of got free representation. Not actually free. Technically it's not, but in any case.
Right.
So what I've decided to do, you gotta take something?
Nope. Sorry.
You're good.
It was a text message from my manager. I wanted to make sure it wasn't a problem.
Uh-huh.
He
So
sent me a photo of a car. He's a car guy.
that's good. So I made the decision this week. I was like, okay, what are my issues with the Facebook ads that I talked about last week, right?
Mhm.
Familiarity, right? with just being comfortable being on camera and doing these ads. And then the fear of it not working, losing money, and not knowing like what to do next, right? And so I'm 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 countering each of those issues independently. And the way I'm countering the comfortable being on camera interview or the perspective, why did I say interview? Man, my brain's shutting down. Um, I'm comfortable ranting about this real estate shit to you at the shop. I'm comfortable talking about it on the podcast. I'm comfortable talking to Grace about it. I'll tell my mom about it. I'll tell anybody who will listen about how my friend is getting fucked right now because they're using an unqualified agent, right? By their own doing. Um, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start filming TikToks. I'm going to try to do 2 a week where it's just direct to camera. It's nothing fancy. I can be in my car. I can be at the Blue Marlin office, but it's just me talking to the camera and it's telling some type of real estate story or just talking about some type of real estate information. Minimal edits, no text on screen, just story format style. And this is inspired by John Kiriakou, the ex-CIA agent who blew the whistle on the torture program, because his stories are so captivating and engaging that people will watch his shit on half speed and eat it up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm as good of a storyteller, but I think that I can take my real estate stories that I have or my points and I can make it engaging into like a 1-minute
Yeah.
TikTok.
If I can
Go
interrupt,
for it.
I think that's an excellent idea.
I agree.
I think you should absolutely do that.
Mhm.
And then classic strategy is do that on TikTok.
Mhm.
Whatever gets the most views, literally take that video,
Mhm.
put a call to action, even if you have to refilm like the end call to action somewhere else, completely different clothing, whatever.
Right.
Don't change the initial video.
Right.
Exactly the same. Just film a call to action, put it on the end, and put it as a Facebook ad.
Okay.
Absolutely, 100% like classic strategy.
Cool.
I've seen Hermosi do it 100 times.
Mhm.
If you watch his videos, like the story stuff he does, like if you wait until the end, almost always the fucking call to action is him, completely different clothes, completely different environment, completely different day,
Mhm.
and he's just making a call to action after a story that did well on organic.
Yeah.
Almost every single time.
Yeah.
And like I've seen it kill and do really, really well. I think that's an excellent strategy. Take the videos that do well, put a call to action, run them as an ad.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
And this is
And TikTok is the only platform that doesn't penalize you for reposting the exact same content with slight differences. So if you
Oh.
wanted to post content with like a different headline or a different hook or something like that, and the body's exactly the same, TikTok is the only social media platform that doesn't penalize you for that.
Interesting.
But it does penalize you if you schedule it to your computer. So make sure you actually post it on your phone.
That's good to know.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that the big driver here, the idea is an idea that I've been a fan of for a while, which is familiarity leads to trust.
Sure.
I said this about the estate lawyer and the lottery ticket a while ago, that story. You know, I was like, I can't imagine giving $1 billion winning lottery ticket to anybody, right? And then after watching one podcast with this estate lawyer, I was like, I would trust this guy with my life. Like I would give him my lottery ticket. It's one fucking podcast. And so I think what I realized in combination of that and John Kiriakou's storytelling and the top real estate agent at the training last week saying when he does his open houses for his listings, people come already knowing what they're going to get. They already like him. They already know him.
Yeah.
Those 3 things in combination, I think, have inspired me to validate that it's a good idea to make content to get the local community familiar with me. And then what has actually spurred me to do it, because I've known it's a good idea for a while, but I haven't actually taken action on it. And I think part of the reason is because I don't like giving advice when it's unsolicited. I don't like being the voice of authority on something when no one has fucking asked. But so I'm not comfortable making content for TikTok if it's not going to help someone directly. But what I've learned in the last week is that people like my friend who are smart, well-meaning, like good knowing people, or my buddy's parents who are clearly intelligent, like they're very wealthy, they make the wrong decisions. And it's because they don't know. And it's because they don't know to ask for the advice. And so I need to give unsolicited advice because I'm in a position now where I know enough that I know that other people are making mistakes unknowingly and they're being taken advantage of.
Yep. Yeah, and you're good at explaining shit.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So
I think you should do it.
I think so too. And I now finally have the the gumption to be like, okay, it's fine if 500 people see the video and are like, this is bullshit. Like, I already knew this. That's fine. The video is not for you. It's for the person who didn't, and I can save a real estate transaction.
Absolutely.
So that's my business update.
Very good. Nice.
What lessons did you learn this week?
The lesson that I wrote down is there were a few days again this week where it was like 11 p.m. and I was like, I could definitely go home right now. Actually, all the days this week, I was like, I could really go home right now and get some good rest and whatever. And anytime, I forgot. Sammy's in Boston this week.
Cool.
Life update.
Cool.
And she hadn't texted. She just texted me, thankfully, but she hasn't texted me from like yesterday at 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, what the fuck happened? I was like, are you dead? I was like, where you at? So she just texted me, which is good.
Alive. 2 p.m. the next day.
2 p.m. the next day. I was like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we sent her a good night text, sent her a good morning text, no response. I was like, what kind of dream did you have? And who did I cheat on you with in your dream that you're so upset about? Or whatever it is.
How can I talk you out of this over the phone?
Yeah. Anyways, but there was a few nights this week at like 11 p.m. where I was like, I could really go home right now. And then I was like, but I could do this thing. And like those last 2 hours, like accumulated over the course of the 6 days between, or 7 days, I guess, between the last podcast and this podcast, like consistently those 2 hours just gets that little bit more ahead to where the next day is a little bit more efficient, a little bit more efficient. And if you think about it, like 2 hours over the course of every day is 14, like that's 14 hours a week back.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of time, a lot of focused time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've really enjoyed that. And I like looking at the list of stuff, like I think I made really good progress this week between cleaning cleaning all the tooling, the loft, the bins, the bathroom, the shelves being organized, electrical decisions, lift is set, floor is clean. Like there's a lot of stuff.
Right.
And so but the lesson I wrote down is an incredible amount of work can be done if you focus and push.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my lesson learned for this week. And kind of on top of that too, it's interesting. Like looking back at, speaking of Sammy, looking back at like when Sammy and I met, like the time to work to time to Sammy time ratio was very challenging for me to work through.
Right.
And I had like almost everyone ask me, between the complex owner, from a friend who stopped by to pick some stuff up, for he has a homeless person that he takes care of, and so he picked up some like extra clothes, and like I gave him like toothbrush and other stuff that I had at the house, like whatever.
Got it.
So he picked that stuff up and whatever, and he's like, oh, like you must get like a lot more work done when Sammy's gone. And I was like, honestly, Sammy said the same thing before she was leaving, but like looking at the last like few weeks that she's been gone, like the ratio of work that I do to when she's here versus not here is almost identical. If anything, like her being here actually helps me because I don't have to go to fucking Wawa to get food. Like I come home and there's fresh cooked meals every day.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, it's really incredible from that perspective of like the amount of work I get done is almost identical. Minus like maybe a couple hours.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that's been really, really great for me, just kind of as like a small tidbit, and I'm very appreciative of. And she's been super supportive. I mean, she came to the shop and like cleaned machines for me, which isn't exactly like entertaining work.
Yeah.
But it needed to be done. So
yeah,
stuff like that I appreciate. But overall, my lesson learned is an incredible amount of work can be done if you focus and push. So
focus and push.
I wrote this also on Little Sleep, but it's but I think it's a good lesson.
It's good. Yeah. I've been listening to more Hermosi lately, and it's consistent with the stuff that he says. I was listening.
I haven't listened to him in like 4 months, to be honest with you.
I haven't either. But I realized I was like, I really love. There's a different guy who I listen to a lot, Alex O'Connor.
I don't know.
He's a like a YouTube philosopher.
Okay.
But he's interesting. He's interested in the study of philosophy. And so he preaches the type he must be like the source of information that Alex gets his stuff from, or one of the sources, right? And so it's kind of like listening to Alex Hormozi from the source, which is cool. But then he also talks about like the principles behind it and the philosophers who came up with those ideas and stuff. So it's interesting. So like I like listening to that stuff, but I think what I've come to realize is that like this guy, Alex O'Connor, is kind of like a historian of philosophy. and so I learn a lot from him, but he doesn't have, like, a hill he'll die on. But Alex
Mm,
Hormozi has hills he'll die on, and,
yeah.
like, that's who he is, right? And I really appreciate that perspective, and so the other night, we got in the car, and, this was the first night that Grace's friend was meeting me. And so like Grace's friend is like really high energy. She is like really caring. She's in the medical field and she's in the medical field because she really does genuinely want to improve the lives of people who
Mhm.
are sick and unwell. So she's like a really great person, bright, bubbly, excited to be in Florida because she lives in the Northeast. We got in the car and the car auto synced to my phone. And the first thing that they were talking about was how Alex doesn't want they had just read Richard Feynman's letter to his dead wife, and they
Mhm.
were talking about how Alex doesn't want Layla to ever write that letter because he doesn't want to be the reason that Layla can't move on and live a happy life.
Sure.
That it doesn't make him happy to know that Layla's unhappy because he's gone. And that came on the speakers and it was like really deep. And like everyone got quiet. And I just kind of turned the music down and I was like, do you want to hook the phone up to your phone? Do you want to play music?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if you guys want to listen
Yeah.
to this. And like they started laughing because it was like really deep out of nowhere. But I was like, I don't know. It's one of those weeks where I really am appreciating like that style of thinking. And a lot of the stuff that I've been listening to lately has been like Gordon Lightfoot, which I will continue to listen to as much as I can. Or just kind of like YouTube rot, like just like stuff to have on in the
Mm.
background while I'm working. And I find that I am so much happier when I'm done listening to an Alex Ramosi podcast than I am listening to whatever YouTube brain rot I have on.
Yeah.
And Grace was like, "Is this a new one?" And I was like, "It's like, is this the new Hormozy podcast?" And I was like, "No, this is an old one. I've listened to it probably 10 times. But every time I listen to it, I get something new out of it. Every
Mm.
time I listen to it,
Yeah.
it's something new, which
Yeah.
is interesting. It's like you've heard the saying that a man never crosses the same river twice because it's not the same river and it's not the
Mm.
same man. It's like that. It's like every time I listen to the podcast, I pick up different aspects because I'm in a different stage and they're talking about things that
Yeah.
apply to me then that didn't apply to me before.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah, super cool.
You have a dial in?
I have lessons if you want to hear my lessons learned.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought that was sort of a lesson. Was it not?
I was responding to yours.
Oh, shit. I just thought it kind of meshed well.
Yeah, it
I'm
kind of
sorry.
does. It's okay.
I'm a little bit.
It's fine. I have actual
I'm
lessons.
off this week.
I have two actual lessons. I actually have a third that is developing real time. I talked to you a little bit before the podcast
Yeah.
about. I think I need to refine my thoughts a little bit before sharing that. Um, this is something that this is something that I will compound upon next week, but it's fresh in my mind, so I'm going to talk about it now.
Bluntness is my strength.
No.
Refinement is my weakness.
Patience. You cannot practice patience without not wanting to practice patience. Because if you don't feel the urge to be patient, like if you don't feel the need to be patient, then by definition, you don't have to practice it, right? So like
Mhm.
if you're not agitated and bothered and have to restrain yourself, then you're not practicing patience, right?
Yeah.
I'm practicing no patience on this podcast right now. There's no time limit. I'm not angry with you. I'm not cutting you off. I'm not agitated. So I don't have to practice patience right now, right? But if you start ranting about like shit that I vehemently disagree with and like you're flat out lying to the good people, the 4 people that watch our podcast, right? I have to restrain myself and practice patience to wait for you to be done talking so that I can correct you, right?
Sure.
And I think that's a beautiful thing because when I feel agitated, I can remind myself it's so rare that I get the opportunity to practice patience because so often I am so apathetic and don't care enough to like even give a shit. But like
Mhm.
the desire to interject and the desire to not be patient like really registers, like it lights up in my brain. And recently I have been using that as an opportunity to get better at practicing patience,
Hmm.
which is cool. But that's something that I'll compound upon further next week. What has been more interesting to me this week is 2 things. The first one is we have our first trillionaire now.
Yes.
He's getting a lot of heat for it. A lot of people are
Really?
upset about it. Dude, the whole like tax the rich
I saw some
crowd.
dumb shit. Like, if Elon gave away blah, blah, blah of his wealth, he could feed 12 people in sub Saharan Africa or something like that. Whatever. This is a little bit rough. I'm on low sleep. Maybe it wasn't quite like that, but like essentially,
Yeah.
like I get it. It's not dumb shit. I shouldn't have said that. But like at a certain point too, like for stuff like that, he has said if blank amount of money can solve world hunger. He said this multiple times. If blank amount of money could solve world hunger,
Right.
I will donate that money right now and sell the SpaceX shares that I have in order to fund that. But all of the transactions and all of the planning have to be publicly known and publicly available. He
Right.
said that before. Like most of this stuff of like he could give away X money and solve Y problem is like just for social media, like flatter.
Yep.
Like it doesn't have substance because there are plenty of people in the world, and there are plenty of governments in the world that have enough money to solve this problem too, but
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah. Well,
And like
also,
there are
like,
multiple reasons for that, right? But like
there's a difference between feeding people and solving the problem. Like what the people who
why don't you
ask
move to
for
where the
this-
food is?
actually,
Dude,
genuinely.
that comedy skit from the 90s is so funny. Dude.
Actually, genuinely, yeah. It's like the people who advocate for millionaires, like, giving away their money to feed hungry people, like that is such a perfect encapsulation, like a meta lesson of why you don't have the money to do that. Like you don't have enough money to go feed people because you don't understand that you're not solving the problem by buying a homeless guy a hamburger.
Yeah, I mean,
Like the problem is he's homeless, not that he's hungry. Like the problem is that he has a drug addiction. Like it requires so much more work to get someone who's in a place of need into a place where they can be productive than just by buying them food. And so you can't solve the problem by even moving people to where the food is. Like you have to move them to where the food is,
Yeah.
and then you have to
it's
promote
a
a
joke,
culture.
of course. Yeah.
No, of course, right. But it's like the people who are ragging on like Elon for being a trillionaire and being like, no one should ever have that much money. Why? He's earned it. If he's earned that money, then why shouldn't he have it, right? Also, it's not liquid cash. He doesn't have a fucking who's the duck? Scrooge McDuck. He doesn't have a Scrooge McDuck vault of gold at home that he goes swimming in every night, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not how this works. But like these people who are upset with him about it, I think don't have the capacity to understand how it works. Which is introspective for me, I think.
Yeah, it's and they're, I think it's really good to help people. I mean, even this week, quite literally, Sammy and I and another couple of friends of mine put together like a suitcase thing for someone who was homeless who lost everything.
Sure. Yeah.
And like I think those things are good to do, but at the end of the day, like, if the problems were so simple as just throwing money at the issue, then it would have been solved a long time ago.
For sure.
And the problems run a lot deeper than that, and there are a lot of levels in order to solve these issues, and a lot of like A, corruption or potential corruption, or B, just dishonesty of where the money goes, which is part of the reason why like Elon was like, you have to make it public, and then all it was, chirps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like for stuff like that, I kind of forgot what I was gonna say, but
There's nuance.
I hear you.
There's nuance.
There's nuance, and like if the people who distract themselves with, at least in my opinion, distract themselves with the pain of Elon being a trillionaire are using that as a tool to distract themselves from the stuff that they aren't doing in their own life.
It's a good way of putting it.
And it's like, I get it. Like, everyone would like to have more money. Bah humbug. It's like people in hell want ice water. I want more money too. Right. And so it's like, for me, I don't care that like he's got $1 trillion. I mean, I think that he's built an incredible company. He's fucking earned a lot of shit, and he's put a lot of effort into what he's done. But like for me, it's like I'm in my own lane. I'm living my life and I'm doing my thing, and like I'm trying to make my life better. I'm not worried about like how Elon's life compares to my life.
Yeah.
It's just a distraction. It doesn't have any. There is no fruit that comes out of it. Your life doesn't get better worrying about why blah 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 is a trillionaire and you're not.
Yeah. Like I feel the like exact opposite when I hear this news. Like we've never had a trillionaire before. We've never had someone come even close to being a trillionaire before.
Yeah.
Like in my life growing up, like the only time I heard a trillion was when we were talking about like the national debt.
Yeah, or like atoms in space.
For atoms in space. Yeah. Like it's such like an ethereal number that's like not even real. And so when I read the headline like Elon Musk is the world's first trillionaire, I thought, holy shit, this is incredible. because it's not inflation. It's not like, oh, like, a home costs like, 10 times as much now as it did in 1981. It's like no one has ever made a company that other humans value as much as this from the get-go at IPO, right?
Yeah.
There's other more valuable companies, but like never has someone decided to open up and share a company, that's what shares literally are, to share a company that as many people are excited about and want to support.
Yeah.
Because ultimately that's what this is, right? Is like people don't buy into companies that they don't believe in, right? Even if you don't believe in the mission statement, you believe that you're going to be making money in it. That's why you're putting money into it, right?
Yeah.
And it's so incredible to me that one man can do this repeatedly with multiple companies to a scale that no one has ever done it before. And the amount of dedication that it takes just fucking, it's so bewildering and inspiring to me. And when I hear it, I am in awe while others are in anguish and are upset by it, which does not make any sense to me. We were driving Grace's friend around yesterday, and we were driving on South Drop, and we were showing them the houses on there. And I was like, oh, I have heard that Jeff Bezos owns a house on North Drop, north of Pineda, but I don't know which one it is. And they were like, oh, I like fucking hate that guy. And I didn't say anything. I practiced patience. And as we were driving, I was like, I have heard rumors that Elon was looking at buying a property up here, like near the Cape, but I can't remember if it ever went through or anything like that. And they were like, I fucking hate that guy too. And I was like, yeah, honestly, like, even if he owns the home, he probably doesn't sleep in it because he usually sleeps on center. Like, he usually sleeps on the factory floor, right? They didn't have anything to say to that. But that's...
Yeah, I drive by those homes every day. And it's like, I don't look at them and be like, I'm not like angry. Some of those homes I look at and be like, damn, that's nice.
Yeah.
Right? But like, that's like, I feel like that's a normal reaction. Like
Yeah.
if someone's got a fucking penthouse and like, some crazy shit out there and like a farm and like a 12-car garage, I'm like, damn.
Sweet, dude.
Like, that's
Good
sick.
for you.
Or like there's some guy, some dude living off of, his hedge fund, like friggin' windsurfing out on the river, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I want to be windsurfing. But I don't look at that and be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's weird.
It's weird. And of all the business owners to be upset, why are you more upset that Elon's a trillionaire today than you were when he was a billionaire yesterday? Because what that's telling me is you're upset because he has more, right? Not because he treats his employees differently. Because Elon's made more millionaires in the last week than any single person has made ever. Like, Elon clearly is treating his employees well, right? There's Jose the welder is going viral right now because he's like a SpaceX welder who's been there for 10 years and now he's a millionaire. And he the first in his family who's a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
And so it's crazy because there's so many businesses out there with so many shitty business owners and fucking crappy entrepreneurs and guys who fuck their business partners. And like, there's so many shitty people in business out there that you can hate. And you're hating like some of the best ones. Like, you don't get there without being good at what you do. People hate on Jeff Bezos, right? Because he doesn't pay Amazon workers enough, right? You're an employee of Jeff Bezos. How would you rate your quality of living?
Excellent. I think I get paid well. I think that we have really, really good treatment. Our benefits are excellent.
As an unbiased party, I would say the same.
The benefits are better than when I worked under the Artemis contract. Like not just like better by like a few bucks, like significantly better.
Well, it's the quality of life as well as the money. Like, it's the working conditions that you have. It's the freedom and flexibility you have at your job. It's the food that you get for free there. Like, it's more than just a paycheck, right? It's more than just the money that you get. So yeah, that
if anything, I'm more intense than like my coworkers recognize like they have it good, but like I'm like more intense than some of them or a fair amount of them to where it's like, no, like let's push, like let's get this done. And it's like, and it's so like I still feel good about the job, but like if anything, I feel like I'm more intense, And it's like, but like it's great there.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. So that was something interesting that I noticed this week. I watched an event happen and then I watched the public respond to it. I watched the Knicks win the NBA championship and then I watched school buses burn in New York. And it's just interesting to me to see how the masses respond to these types of things because I read the headline, I have my emotional gut reaction, and I read what other people are saying, and there's just such a huge delta. When the Artemis 3 crew was announced, my first instinct when I saw that the crew was announced was, oh, interesting. One of them has an Italian flag on his shoulder. He must be from Italy. I didn't even know that the European Space Agency was a thing,
Yeah.
right? So I went and I learned about the European Space Agency, and I thought that was interesting because the Artemis 2 crew had a Canadian astronaut. Jeremy Hansen was a Canadian astronaut on the Artemis 2 mission. And so my initial reaction was like, oh, it's so cool that they're doing 3 Americans and then 1 from another country, because these missions are about like furthering all of humanity and not just America. Like, yeah, USA number 1, awesome. But we can humbly say USA number 1 and incorporate highly qualified, incredibly skilled people from other countries too, right? Like, it takes the whole world to progress us to other planets, not just one country, right? Like, if you were on, if humans were interplanetary and you hadn't seen another human in 10 years and you crash landed on a planet and a human of any race, gender, ethnicity, color, height, length, whatever, came up to you, you would be relieved because it's someone of your own kind, right?
Mhm.
And like that was my first reaction, right? Every single headline has been, why isn't there a woman on the crew? Every single, because Christina Cook was in the last one, and now there isn't a woman, and so everyone's freaking out.
Yeah.
Everyone's wigging out. Everyone's talking about how there's enough female astronauts that the Artemis 4 crew can be all female. And it's like, did you not even fucking pay attention to the entire
Yeah.
Artemis 2 crew's mission
Yeah.
and their whole statement about how this is for all of humanity and it's not about DEI or women in STEM? It's so annoying. It's so frustrating because I really do think that the Artemis 2 crew did a phenomenal job of like uniting humans, and then it just fucking blew past all these morons' heads.
Yeah.
So it's so sad for me to see that happen. Um, and so on the off chance that an astronaut sees this, you have made an impact in my life,
Hmm.
even
Cool.
if it misses all the headlines. And then the last life update that I have is Grace's friend. I don't know them. Like, this is the first time I have spoken to them and met them. But they also had shitty relationships in the past.
Sure.
Guys like suck on the whole. Like, there's a lot of shitty dudes out there. Like um, he for the first 8 months he treated her really well, and they like spent all their time together over COVID, and they got really close and attached. And then he started like little things. He would be like, oh, like they would be at dinner and he would be like, you don't really need dessert. You'll be all right. Like that kind of thing. And it progressed to the point where she was having to do daily weigh-ins with him, and he would count her calories. And if she did not drop weight, she would get in trouble. He would hit her and he would lock her in the bathroom. He was Middle Eastern, and he would do this at his family's house. He would
Whoa.
lock her in the bathroom and berate her and yell her and like smack her. And the family was cool with it because that's their culture.
Whoa.
Not okay with her. She tried to leave multiple times. Every single time, he would just follow her. Like he would hide her
Dude,
car
that's
keys.
fucking
He would take her
insane.
car keys. One time she left to go to her parents' house, and he showed up at her parents' house, and they let him take her. And he was like, she's being emotional, like she's upset, like, you know, we like she's gonna calm down, like she's just going through it. She didn't take her medication, whatever. Like he would just lie to her parents, and her parents didn't give a shit because her parents weren't like the best people. But like very similar stories to the type of shit that Grace has had in the past. And it like my instinct is always like, why are you with somebody who doesn't treat you well?
Mm.
And the answer is it doesn't happen all at once. Like you don't
Yeah.
get called like
True.
a terrible name on the first date. Like the first 6, 8 months, 1 year is good. And then they slowly start to, and then you're doing daily weigh-ins, and you don't even realize what's going on. And by then you're too afraid to leave. And so
That's crazy.
the way that Grace got out of her abusive relationship is that she moved to Florida to go to college, and the guy didn't move to Florida. Like that's how she got out of the relationship. Her friend, like the way she got out of the relationship is he took a job in like Arizona or whatever, and he was like, I'm gonna go work in Arizona. And she was like, cool. He was like, do you want to come? She was like, no. He was like, all right, fine. And she just stayed where she lived.
Yeah.
Um, but it was eye-opening to me to see like the bar has truly never been lower, right? When Alex Ramosi says like just be in shape, have money, and like don't be a dick, like it really is just those 3 things. Because like you don't have to be like super attentive or affectionate or perfect. You don't have to spend a ton of time and money like, you know, pandering to somebody. Like you can just be a good person, and
Mhm.
like that's leagues above where everyone else is at.
Yeah.
Um, and so I had told the story about the Miami trip to get the Lexus and how like stressed out we were. I told the long version of the
Mm.
story. And she was like, "Did you guys like freak out?" And I was like, "No, we locked in." And she was like, "You didn't get upset?" And Grace was like, No, he was like quiet, like focused. Like if there was a problem, he would say something, but other than that, it was like all business. And she was like, "Holy shit, dude!" And she was like, "I think every guy I know would have fucking like yelled at me or and like gotten upset or something. So like, good on you for not getting upset." And I was like, good job for not getting angry and yelling at a girl." Okay, that was eye opening to me. Um, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's the standard is just
Yeah.
so low. But it was a new perspective that I hadn't seen really from the same angle before, and so I wanted to mention it.
Well,
But that's all I have.
damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Dial in.
this is a Hermosi quote, and it has to do with my revelation to start making familiarity posts. That's what I'm going to call them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, if you get into business to solve problems, you'll make money. If you get into business to make money, you'll have problems.
Damn straight. Fucking facts. Cool. Well, that concludes episode 111, 111
Oh, I need so much more caffeine for this drive, dude.
of
Oh
the
my
Vision
god.
79 podcast. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you for all of you that tuned in. Hopefully, you have a great week coming up, and we will see you next time.